Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa alihi wa sahbihi amma ba'd. We welcome you back to the next hadith in the series, and this is the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Sunfani min ahli nari lam arahuma, qawmun ma'ahum siyatun ka'adnab al-baqar yadribuna biha an-nas ونساء كاسيات عاريات مائلات مملات رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت excuse me رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت لا يدخلن الجنة ولا يجدن ريحها وإن ريحها لا تشم من أو لا يوجد من مسيرة كذا وكذا." The Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he states that two categories of people that I have not yet seen, but these are from the people of hell. And he's prophesizing in this hadith about something to be, something in the future that was not present in his lifetime, that would come after he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah's peace and blessing be upon him, after he was to die and leave this earth. And he says that from these two categories, the first of them that he mentions is people that will carry sticks, or that they will carry weapons that are in the form of sticks that resemble the tails of cows, that they will use them to beat the people. And in this, it's absolutely clear that these people are physically abusing others, and they have these weapons in their hands of these sticks, or of these batons, or whatever they may be called, of different forms in which they are oppressing. And regardless of whether these are people that are supposed to be, quote, upholding the law, or people that are acting as mobs. In the first part, if they're people that are supposed to be upholding the law, they're actually going way above and beyond what is permissible for them of upholding the law. So that if, for example, they were given an inch, they actually take a mile. If they were given permission to do something once, that they're actually then also doing it much more than that, into greater severity and extreme. But also the greater understanding is that it's actually something that's taking place not in the sense of upholding the law, but in the sense of injustice, that it becomes something that's a bit more prevalent, where there's these mobbish types of people and activities where there's going to be this physical abuse. And actually that's also telling us something about the times wherein there's going to be crime, there's going to be disregard for the law, where there's going to be trespassing of rights, and there's going to be this physicalness where people are going to put their hands on each other, and a group that's going to have weapons is going to inflict pain and injury and even death to the others, those that are weaker or those that they can abuse. And Allah protect us. The second that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned are women. And he mentions many interesting adjectives here, and we'll go through them. The first is Nisa'un kasiyat, women that are clothed, that are dressed. And then he says ariyat, that are unclothed, or that are naked. And there's two things to understand from that. The first is that it's referring to women who are clothed by Allah's blessings that He has provided for them. And that among His provisions are food and clothing and shelter. So they have this blessing. But yet, with regards to truly being grateful and thankful and appreciative to Allah, they are unclothed. They do not have the appreciativeness, the appreciation, the gratefulness to Allah for what He has provided for them of this precious blessing. But the second thing that's mentioned with regards to this interpretation is that they are clothed, they do have clothing, but the clothing has not fulfilled its purpose, so it's as if that they are ariyat, as if they are unclothed. How is that? Well, when we look at the conditions for clothing, we come to realize that the clothing itself must, number one, it must be complete, so that it's covering everything except for the face and the hands of the woman, especially as we're talking about in public, because we're talking here about women in a public scene where there's going to be non-mahram men, men that are not of their immediate family, and this is going to be something of their characteristics. So they are not going to be completely clothed, so it's as if they're undressed. And we're talking about, subhanAllah, a reality especially that we see today, where women, their clothing is only getting shorter and it's becoming only more revealing, where they are showing more of flesh and of skin and things of that sort, whereas in the past, even in the past 50 years, it hasn't been as bad, and it only seems like it's getting worse. But the second condition is that the clothing itself should be loose. So not only is it complete in its covering, but that it also needs to be loose. And so it defeats the purpose if a woman is going to be wearing clothing that is tight, such that it's as if they are unclothed. Because the body itself, its shapes and its curves and its beauty, etc., it's being advertised, it's being shown. It's in essence, it's like, hey, you don't have to leave anything to your imagination. You can see exactly what's there. And the other point, the third, is that it should not be transparent, or that it should not be of a material that you could literally see through, of a light color, of a light texture, things of that sort. So it needs to be such that you cannot see beyond the clothing, the material itself. And this is also something that's true. You'll find that the women are wearing colors that are very light, the material is very thin, that you can literally see what's underneath of their bra, of their underwear, and things of that sort. This is something that's absolutely forbidden. The Prophet ﷺ, he continued to tell us about these women, that they are ma'ilat. Two interpretations with regards to this. First is that they are inclined towards the disobedience of Allah. So it's perhaps because they have that rebelliousness in them that they are doing this. Where they say it's as if, Allah's laws, who cares about them, and Allah protect us. And therefore they're going to dress this way and they're going to act that way. A second interpretation is that that's how they walk. They have a special walk, a characteristicness to them in the way that they walk, etc. That's indicative. And mumilat, it also has these two interpretations. Mumilat in the first sense that they are, because of their being rebellious, etc., they're actually serving as role models, where they are actually now inciting other women to follow in their footsteps, because they are publicly behaving with this sense of rebelliousness, with a disregard for Allah Azza wa Jal in the teachings of what Islamic hijab, Islamic dress of virtuousness and modesty entail. And the second, mumilat, in the way that they wear their clothing, in the way that they are dressed, and in the way that they behave and they act, that they have this specialness of how it's distinct in them. The Prophet ﷺ warned, further saying, about them, saying that their heads are going to be like the humps of the Bactrian camel, that their heads are going to be very prominent and large. And one of the things that's mentioned about this with regards to the scholars, that they're going to have material tied in with their hair and different types of extensions and so on and so forth, such that now it also draws even further attention to themselves, aside from the other aspects that just preceded of the four things. The Prophet ﷺ warned with regards to these two categories of people. He said that they will not enter Jannah, paradise, heaven, nor will they even smell its fragrance. And its fragrance can be smelled from a distance of such and such. And he left it anonymous. He left it unspecified, so that it could be all the more of a reprimand and all the more of a fear factor for the people to realize that who knows what that distance could be, how close or perhaps how far. And when we're talking here about that they will not enter Jannah, these people who do these things thinking that it is permissible, and in reality it really is haram, that they are changing the law of Allah. Much worse than somebody who knows that what they're doing is wrong, but they don't in any way try changing the religion, but they just say, hey, I'm a weak Muslim, etc. Allah guide me, Allah help me, as opposed to saying, no, that's not true, or that's like this, or whatever the case is, rationalizing things away because they think they know better, and whatever else the situation may be. And we ask Allah the Exalted that He protect us from ever having ourselves and our loved ones being from either of these two categories, such that we are of those who He does bless with paradise and being able to enjoy everything that's in it. Allahumma ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.